may be difficult for them.
They'll watch later. Shall I put some tech error?
Yeah, just share the YouTube link that will come. I'll share it with you.
How do I share that?
Maybe those who want to watch, maybe it may be difficult for them.
Oh, it's already live.
This girl is
already live, so
technically
already live. The meeting is now streaming on. The meeting is now streaming on YouTube link that will come. Okay. So yeah, sorry for the technical issues. We are streaming live from YouTube now, and we have some Facebook issues that were not being able to resolve. So we decided to stream on YouTube. Good evening, whoever's watching, and if you've just stumbled across this video, if you were browsing through Facebook or YouTube, then this is Aarti and Vani, and we host a bunch of talks that are called eco talks that revolve around sustainability, environment, and people who have been like the front runners in the space of living a mindful, sustainable lifestyle. Today, we are on our episode number 9, and the other episodes have already been on YouTube, so you can go check them out. Today, we are going to be talking about the Hasiru couple, and Hasiru in Kannada means green, so we're going to talk to a really green couple today. Vani, over to you with the introduction.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you so much, and welcome, Mr. Ramakant and Mrs. Ramakant. Mr. Ramakant doesn't need any introduction. He's been in the front runner, trying to keep the city clean and looking at waste as as a responsibility of every citizen. So nanna kasa nanna jawabdari, that is my waste is my responsibility, is his hashtag, and that is what he's been promoting. He was an engineer, worked outside the country for many years, came back, and he dived right into finding out what he can do in his area, what kind of contribution he can volunteer is what he's been looking at. And of course, Mrs. Veda has been one of the pillars of his whatever he's achieved till today. He's a well-known man, so all the glory goes to the wife, who has been the strong person, encouraging him and supporting him in all his endeavors. So, Mr. Ramakant, tell us, how did it all start? You are today known as an Hasiru Anna, the person who is trying to clean up Bangalore. So, could you tell the viewers what made you get into this, and how did you actually start?
Thank you for introducing me and calling me as a guest today, as a guest for this guest talk. Now, you see, when I left India was much, I did my engineering in 1963. Then after that, worked a few years in Goa. When I came back, I found only concrete constructions, and wherever it is there, all black spots and all that. Then I thought of giving back something to the community. So then I started promoting these resident welfare associations. 2-3 places I promoted, and the place where I am staying also, there was no response for anything. So I explained to them what is the advantages and started forming resident welfare associations. And after that, then we were only looking after our own locality. That is, act locally. Then we wanted to go global. Then what we did, few like-minded people, we gathered. Malleshwaram Resident Welfare Association, Dr. Meenakshi Bharat was the secretary that time, and Vani Murthy was another activist. And then we had Mariam Shankar, who is a German lady working on different places she was not listing any place in Bangalore. We met her in Kabban Park one day, and we had a long discussion. And finally, we decided to form what is called Solid Waste Management Roundtable, working for the good of the city. So then one after another followed, and you can say, we were the first to say what is segregation of waste at source. So that time, only myself, Panimurthy and Dr. Meenakshi Bharat, we were going around all over Bangalore trying to promote this. And any far off place, I used to go and used to help the people to segregate in apartments and all that. First, we started with apartments. And then the dry waste collection center, there is nobody knew anywhere in India, so to say, what is dry waste collection center. Then I approached the BBMP commissioner for some blank spaces which are lying vacant and not being used for years. Then we started the first 3 rooms we got in Malleshwaram market. And from there we started the dry waste collection center. And then I went to a lecture by the president of the ITC paper board, this paper division. And he said, we are importing 40% of, more than 40% of waste paper from abroad, from different countries. Then I suggested to him, why don't you help us? Then we will collect here and supply it to you so that you can decrease the percentage. So then we started, myself and Dr. Meenakshi Bharat, we started the campaign for segregating in apartments and then keeping it in Malleshwaram. We started with Malleshwaram and Yelahanka. Then we reached Vanerghatta, and most of the places we were bringing waste to a central place. Then I approached the commissioner. There was a football stadium in Shivaji Nagar, and there below the stadium was all full of antisocial activities were going on. One day I took him there, showed what are things going on there, all drug pieces, bottles, liquor bottles, everything. Then we got it cleaned and we started a go down there. That time we were calling it go down. It was not called as dry waste collection center. There we started. That is how our history of dry waste collection center started in Bangalore city.
Fantastic.
I can proudly say Bangalore was the first city to start this.
Absolutely.
Segregation of waste at source and dry waste collection center. That time we were calling it go down. Then we were slowly officially named it as dry
Sir,
waste
I will come back to DWCC later. We will ask one question to Madam. Ma'am, once he got into all this volunteering work and going out and doing so many things every day, how did you react? What was your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I was very proud of that. Whatever he was doing, I really liked it. And then the whole place is going to be clean. That is also very important,
Very true. Very true. Very true. So when he's looking at removing black spots, you were trying to make it green at your home. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever he was doing outside, I started in the house only,
Very
segregating
nice.
the waste,
Very nice.
making the compost. All
So-
those things I started that time only.
So important for such a support, especially, if he's going out every day, the support that you have given is so valuable. Aarti, would you like one?
I wanted to ask you, you also contested for elections. Can you briefly take us through how your journey has been and your experience has been in the space of politics and elections?
Please, can you repeat the question, please?
Politics.
My question.
Election. Election is like this. See, in the Resident Welfare Association president, I was there for 10 years. So all the time, I was going house to house, how collection is going on, how people are doing and all that. Many places where I go, there were, many times there were a lot of resistance. And one government officer, a big chief of commercial tax and all that, she was a lady. She even told that if you come and harass us like this, I'll call the commissioner. So like this, a lot of resistance is to be there. Whatever it is, I became popular. Everybody was seeing my face. And when the corporation elections came, they all came forward and told, why don't you stand for election? That is the background for me. And unfortunately, I lost the election by a huge margin because I had to fight. Now elections are mainly the 3 M's, so to say: money, manpower, and muscle power. So all the 3 I didn't have. I only had my residents' support. which is not enough for the whole ward. That
So,
is
ma'am,
the-
did you support him during his tenure and whatever he was fighting elections? He stood for the corporate as a corporator. He tried to fight an election. How was your support? What did you think about it?
My support, okay, all the people used to come home. I used to feed them. All his supporters, who worked for him, they all used to come home. And then and other things, whatever has to be done about the paperwork and all those things, that also I was doing. So feeding so many people is also important,
Absolutely.
So you don't have any inhibitions that, politics is something that we are always afraid of, and there is so much of negativity associated with it. Ma'am, did you not have any apprehensions that your husband could possibly be a politician and get into that, entire dark hole of politics?
Yeah, I told you, politics main word qualifications already. So at least for an election, you need
Right.
those qualifications.
Right. So, sir, now that we have, I'm a part of the team called SWMRT, and Mr. Ramakant has been one of our prominent members, founding member, and we have almost completed more than 10 years now as in our journey. So, how do you think we are going? The way we started, and where have we reached? Can you just tell the work that SWMRT has been doing from the start? We visited a landfill, and what changed, and what did we do? Can you just elaborate a little bit on SWMRT?
Especially solid waste management roundtable, we were the first to make policies and decisions after all practical experience. So then first we went to the Lok Adalat under the advice of Dr. Yellappa Reddy, and he helped us quite a lot. He was one of the members of the Lok Adalat. We got the dry waste collection center, became a law. And then segregation at source also became a law because of the Lok Adalat, and afterwards we went to the High Court also. Then we visited the landfill. Landfills were in such a horrible condition. So we used to explain to everywhere how landfill creates pollution, water pollution, air pollution, and also soil pollution and all that. All that we explained, and see that this promotion, this was done every Tuesday. We used to religiously sit on the meeting, discuss the strategy, what we should do in the High Court or in the court. Then we went on a public interest litigation against Bangalore City Corporation, BBMP, that mismanagement of waste. Your waste management is not properly done, and we would advise what is to be done. And I am proud to say that whatever High Court orders were passed in the Karnataka High Court became law, and solid waste management rules 2016 was all replica of the orders passed in the High Court of Karnataka. That is one thing I am proud to say, that we have achieved. Solid waste management roundtable was the base for all the laws which are made. Then we brought afterwards plastic ban also. For that we had some other volunteers, and still we were the base for all this segregation at source and all that.
Fantastic. Very, very proud to be a part of your, you leading us, especially when it comes to interacting with the officials, the BBMP. So how do you hold them responsible and accountable? Because, that's the main thing. Even if the citizens are told that, they have to segregate the waste, but still there is the other side where there is, the pickup and, processing. So what is your approach? What has been your approach? Because you have been one of the persons who have constantly interacted with all the officials. So just can you give us some idea on what it was to be a part of that, training them, giving them the kind of advice, and yeah.
In my last 10 years, I've worked with 6 commissioners, that is the BBMP commissioners, and I used to make them realize that how important it is, the waste management. So there, another thing I found, at least weekly, 4 or 5 days, I used to go out on the field and teach literally the junior health inspectors and the environment engineers what is to be done on the field. Simply they were going and clearing the black spots and collecting whatever material is given by the residents. So then the new environment officers or whatever junior health inspectors are concerned, that commissioner at that time was so impressed with what I did. Then he called, every time a new recruitment is made, I was called to give training to them for 3 days. And that training, even Dr. Meenakshi Bharat supported me many places. And wherever it is nearby, we used to jointly go hold the training for them. That is another moment for which BBMP took my help. But unfortunately, we could not achieve our goal completely because there was no political will in so many acts which we recommended. Otherwise, commissioners, officials, everybody was fully convinced.
So talking about commissioners, I want you to talk about the Compost Sante because that is my pet subject. So how did Compost Sante start? Because that had a fantastic run, every Sunday of one Sunday of a month, we would all come together. We would see you come in your tracksuits and, you would walk wherever we had the Sante in parks. So can you tell us about the Santes itself? How did the Compost Santes start? It was from a commissioner who started it.
This is also, you see, what we wanted to do was, I suggested to commissioner, instead of going every house and telling them, each ward we will have what is called Compost Sante. Then each ward, we will have all the vendors there. And we will explain to them. And in the first few, there were total, unfortunately, we have 198 wards, but we did only about 45 Compost Santes. Many of the elected people didn't come forward to promote this, but even then, we made about 40 to 45. And everywhere, I used to go soon in the morning only before starting and saw to it that many people came, and we started even announcing in auto rickshaws and all sorts of things we did, and saw to it that people came there so that at least whether they successfully did it or not, we were putting them in their head that how easy composting can be done. That way, even vendors also got the support, and we could promote composting in a big way to all the residents of the particular ward.
So what is interesting here is you made Compost Sante zero waste. There was breakfast that was being given. So could you tell us, how you try to reduce the amount of waste that got generated During this Sante itself?
During the
Santes.
Santes, yeah.
Zero waste.
Santes was
using
mainly,
steam.
to make the people aware of that, about this. Our waste is our responsibility. So the dry waste, whatever is there after segregation will go, and whatever wet waste is there can be composted in so many easy ways. We gave them so many methods, which already aerobic method, anaerobic, so many types, and different, and they can choose from any alternative. So that's what we did. The same thing after that, we came out with a proposal of how to collect the waste from different houses. Then we made the proposal in the High Court about 2 bin 1 bag. We made 3 types of segregation. So with this, the bag will have the dry waste, and the red bin will have the hazardous waste, and the green bin will have the green waste. This also was passed as a law. Even now in the SWM rules, there is a law of 2 bin 1 bag. So that also we have promoted from Solid Waste Management Roundtable, and we have been solidly behind that. But though we are not able to enforce it in individual houses, we have successfully done it in many apartments in Bangalore City.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, now coming to you. Of course, you have trained yourself to understand what this whole segregation is, what he was doing outside, you're doing at home, and you set up a biogas plant. So, not many people know about how you can have a home, a biogas plant at home, in which you're putting your kitchen waste. So could you tell a little bit about what this biogas plant is, and how are you using it, and what are the advantages? Can you just elaborate on the biogas plant?
You want me to?
Mainly biogas.
Yeah.
We started this biogas about 5 years, from 7 years, nearly. Okay. And then we can, in our house, what we are having is about 2.5 kilos waste we can put only. So in this way, we can dispose of our kitchen waste. And of course, biogas has got only some restrictions, that we cannot put citrus fruits and all those things, citrus waste. But we can dispose of our kitchen waste, and even I take from neighbors also, because it's not enough for me. So I take from the neighbors also.
Okay.
But
I just want to, before you continue, there are some of us like me who are not quite aware of what a biogas plant is. So could you inform some of us what a biogas plant is?
Biogas plant is an anaerobic digester. See, you put the waste in that, and nowhere you will get smell or anything like compost. Compost, if you don't do properly, then there is a chance of smell and something on the rats and rodents and all that coming. All that precautions you have to take. As you come to know, you will do it. But whereas in biogas plant, it is all anaerobic. Simply putting the waste is your problem. That's all. Waste, when you put, you have to put equal quantity of water also, because there is enough dilution, and everything happens inside without oxygen support. So that is why we call it anaerobic. So anaerobic digester. After that, whatever the inside, we put first cow dung for creating the bacteria, and then first carbon dioxide comes. Then after a few days, you will find methane coming out. So methane is the one which we use as biogas. And this, what we get in individual house, we have no purifier or anything. But if you extend it further, make it for the big place, for a ward, you can have purifiers. H2S also will be there, carbon dioxide will be there. Our methane percentage will be around 60, maximum 70, 65 to 70%. But this is not completely pure, so you don't get the full calorific value. We can improve that in bigger plants by having the H2S scrubber, and also the materials, carbon dioxide removal decreasing and all that. And some places in indoor, they have reached almost 95% methane.
Okay.
So what they do is, even CNG buses, they are running in that.
Right.
But a small scale, to do this 2 kilos, we can't have all that purifiers and boosters and all that. We just manage. One thing is there, it is trouble proof, and you get slurry which comes out is excellent nutrient for the soil. So you get both products. One way you save the LPG, which is very necessary for the gas. So about 30 to 40% of LPG we save every month. That's
so
what.
You connect it to the stove. You connect it to your stove.
Yeah. We directly connect it to the stove.
Yeah.
From the drum to the pipe comes, and that is connected to the different stove. It is biogas has a different stove.
Okay.
And
So
also,
biogas supplier use a different stove because of the holes, because of the calorific value is low, you have a bigger hole. Because when the methane comes out, more of oxygen has to join, and then it becomes the bigger holes. So they supply the stove also along with that. That is very important. And we can, high calorific value is not there. We can't do quick cooking and all that.
Okay.
And about what cooking she is doing in that, madam will be able to explain properly.
Yes,
mine is only eating, no cooking.
Ma'am, how do you cook in that? How long do you
mainly, we drink always hot water. So all those hot water, to heat the hot water, I use that. And then making coffee, tea, and then milk, me heating the milk. Sometimes vegetables also, if it is more. If the gas is more, if the sun is there, good sun, then we get more gas. That time I use it for vegetables also.
Okay.
So that way I can at least save 40% of my LPG, 40 to 50% I can save.
That is fantastic. That's fantastic. So this is connected from your terrace to your kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. From the terrace to the kitchen. Directly.
Ma'am, tell us how you involved your neighbor, because we would definitely want to introduce your neighbor also, Lekha, who is also giving you the waste. As you said, waste was not enough to feed the biogas. So how did she manage? Aarti, you would want to introduce her, Lekha?
And while ma'am is explaining the entire neighbor bit, I'm going to also request her neighbor, Miss Lekha, to join us. So I'm just going to ask Lekha to be part of this video. Yes, hi Lekha. You are on mute, so which is the catchphrase of 2020.
Are you able to hear now?
Yeah. So, ma'am, can you tell how you thought about involving the neighbors? Of course, I'm sure Mr. Ramakant would have talked about segregation and composting and all that. But particularly for biogas, how did you involve your neighbor, especially Lekha?
Yeah. So,
mainly.
Heli, madam, nive heli, Veda madam.
Okay. The mainly, because they're all our close neighbors. They're all very friendly. And I tell them how to segregate for the biogas and for the compost separately. I take even for the compost also from them. And biogas also, they separate it and then give me. And I put it, I have a different jar, which I put it in the mixie. And then I mash it and then put it in the biogas, the drum. So in that way, it won't get choked. That is
Okay. Wow. So Lekha, what is your experience and what did you learn about from this couple? Because, they are like the top couple who have really taken, they practice and also they take the word forward. So what was your lessons you learned and how did you involve in this?
So basically, I got really inspired because uncle at such an age, he's, able to do so much more than what we are able to do at this age, So that really inspired. And I decided that, I'll really go and do it because I'm very fond of gardening. And we have a lot of requirement for compost and things like that. So uncle used to come and advise, you can do such and such a thing and all that. So what we did is I use part of it for my composting and the rest of it I give it to uncle, and they use it, they compost it in their house. And ours being a joint family, we used to get a lot of kitchen waste also. So all the peels and all the things would go to uncle's house, to be put in the biogas. So I thought this is really good because you're not throwing it all in the landfills, and you already have enough around your area. So the more you use it over there, it's at least useful and it is not going as a waste also. So I thought of it, and that really helped even my garden also grow a lot. And as you know, it's also called black gold.
Yes, absolutely. So I also heard from Mr. Ramakant that you feed the cows also. Some of the kitchen waste first goes to the cows and the remaining comes to their house. So
yes.
Could you tell me about that?
Yeah, so what we thought is because we have a lot of waste, and that much doesn't go into the gas every day, it becomes too much for the biogas. So what we do is some part of it we go and feed the cows, and the remaining we give it for biogas. And some of it from that also, peel onion peels and all the citrus peels and all that, all those things go into the wet waste. And apart from that, we also use it for bioenzyme. Things like orange peels and oranges and lemon and all that is what we use for making bioenzymes for, wiping the floors, washing the kitchen vessels and all that. So trying to use the maximum of all the waste that is going,
Yeah, so much of value in the waste that we throw, and people really don't know that, every bit of waste that we generate has, some purpose. It
Correct.
could be repurposed or recycled somewhere or the other.
Correct. So we are saving so much of money also, we are saving so much of money also, not buying all those things from the shops and using all the waste and, putting it to use.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what about your dry waste? I hear that you have been collecting, not giving away for some time now.
Yes, yeah. So because I have a garden too, so I try to give a lot of it there. I keep a little for myself also. So use it for all my fruits and veggies and flowers and all that. So use it for that also. I mean,
Okay.
trying to make the maximum use of whatever we have.
Aarti, you want to ask something?
So, I wanted to ask Veda ma'am, if there are any, we've heard such nice things about a biogas plant, and it's really intriguing. And I'm sure a lot of people will go ahead and see if they want to venture out and have their own biogas plant if they live in an apartment or an independent house. Are there any disadvantages or things that are not that appealing about a biogas plant?
Aarti, just give her one sentence, ask her.
So are there any disadvantages of a biogas plant?
Let me tell you.
Disadvantage.
I reply that question. So there is no disadvantage in biogas plant. Only problem is individual house. See, now earlier we didn't have a grinder. We were just feeding all the waste into the kitchen waste into that, and that became all sludge started depositing in the, half the drum was filled with sludge, and only the slurry was coming out. So what we did after 4 or 5 years, we had to literally empty the whole drum and do it. Then madam suggested why we should not go for a grinder. She had a wet grinder in the house for the kitchen. She bought a separate jar for the grinder. Now she is putting all the ground pulverized material into the biogas plant. So with the result, the deposition is minimum now. Of course, something will be there, but it is minimum.
Nice.
That is the thing. Disadvantages, if you start using properly, one thing I want to tell you, that biogas plant you should look after like your baby.
Right.
Compost plant, anything compost when it is there, anything which is waste, you put it there, and afterwards nice treatment has to be done and all that, which Vanimurthy is an expert. But biogas plant, you have to choose the material and then put, especially small plants.
Okay.
Bigger plants, small percentage can go. So that means if you feed anything and say gas will come, then you are buggering the plant itself. So you have to be very careful. Look after the biogas plant like your own baby, which madam is doing it. So there is no headache for me. Otherwise, it would have been a big headache. Those people who installed along with me, it didn't even work for 6 months. Whereas I am continuing to work almost nearly 10 years, we are going to complete it.
It all credit goes to man, Veda man.
Of course, everything goes to madam. Mine is only Mestri's job. Actual execution is done by madam.
Absolutely.
So with the result, I can't take any credit for that.
Main thing is wherever I want help, sometimes cow dung and all those things, he will help me.
Okay.
He has to get it.
Okay.
Now, for last 3 days, there was no sunlight, more than 1 week. So gas quantity was much less. So I helped her with cow dung. So cow dung from the ward. I have got a lot of cow owners here around whom I know, and just tell them. So they will send with the drum. We create that slurry, and every day she is mixing about 10% of cow dung inside the kitchen waste. Make slurry and put it. That is a big advantage. Now it is started, gas is coming normal. Like this, some small teething trouble comes, then I interfere. Otherwise, she does everything by herself.
So I'm sure, Lekha, you must be finding it so educative, interesting, and such a nice to have neighbors who are so well informed and who are like champions of the city. Right?
Very true. I've learned a lot from them. Auntie and uncle has been guiding me all through, all through this process. So, shortly I'll also be able to learn much more from them,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's true.
Thank you so much, Lekha, for joining us.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Ramakant, this is something that you have to talk about when Ganesh.
One thing is there, now this bakery waste is very valuable.
Right.
What I do, I observed in the bakery, every day they sweep the material, and whatever leftovers are there and stale material, they give it to the Paurakarmikas. These Paurakarmikas, if they are hungry, they will take it, and I saw them eating it. So then I threatened the waste bakery people not to give any waste to the Paurakarmikas. So once in a week, I used to go there, collect myself and bring it to house. And every day, madam is mixing about 20% of bakery waste into that.
Okay.
This bakery waste has got starch and ghee and all that, which is very rich. So that way, it improves the quantity and also quality of the gas. That is another advantage of having bakery waste, which I take the trouble once in a week to go and collect it from them. They will not come and hand it over to me.
Sir, next I want to, Ganesh festival is coming, and you have been a person who has made a Ganesh immersion as zero waste. What kind of advice can you give people about celebrating Ganesha festival and about the immersion?
Regarding?
Ganesha.
Oh, Ganesha festival.
Yes.
Ganesha festival, Sankey Tank I was monitoring on the first day. See, Sankey Tank I was observing when the Ganesha immersion starts on the main road going from the circle to the Makery Circle road used to smell all over. None of the residents could stay there. Then I thought this business will not do. Then I started monitoring. And whether you believe it or not, in 10 days, 1,25,000 Ganeshas average goes into that. So there, the Ganesha, what they were doing, old Ganesha, whatever with all puja material, they used to put it in the tank and used to pollute the tank. And Ganesha also used to be always with the POP Ganeshas with paint and all that, which only paint was dissolving and the Ganesha used to be as it is. So for that, I used to tell them, I promoted this system of separating the flowers and all puja material from the Ganesha. Literally, you can say, I promoted this in Sankey Tank first. And then near Chaudhary Hall, there was a composter run by Hasiru. And our teammate Lanini Shekhar was so happy to receive that flower waste, because flower waste is one of the easiest thing to compost. So I used to go and hand it over. Instead of sending, that time it was going to the landfill about 40 kilometers away. So just half a kilometer from there, I used to compost the whole material. And then the change, people also observed. Once we started removing all the puja material and immersing only the Ganesha, then the smell on the road, nowhere we could get any smell there. And afterwards, even near the Kalyani or the tank, there was no smell. It was every year we started improving. Then we recommended to the BBMP to ban the POP Ganeshas. That lot of citizens joined there and started doing this. The awareness for the people in schools, colleges, everywhere they were doing to promote this clay Ganeshas, eco Ganesha. We were calling it eco-friendly Ganesha. And that also I used to call the pujaris, whoever comes, many of the Ganeshas used to come with pujaris to puja near the tank and all that. I used to tell them clearly that next year, if they do this in POP Ganesha with all that flowers and all that, you refuse to do the puja to that Ganesha.
Okay.
We do Ganesha with all devotion and finally put it there, head broken, leg broken, hand broken, nothing is going to dissolve. So I used to tell them in the house only, you start immersing in a bucket or a drum, and we managed very pollution-free Ganeshas. And this became a law afterwards that we must do. All the tanks started following. It first started with Sankey Tank.
So yeah, that's one of the amazing ways, because Ganesha festival is coming over, soon next week, and I'm sure by now most of the people are looking at going eco-friendly, trying to minimize the amount of disposables that you use during the festival, and also the immersion, doing it at home, because now I think with COVID it may not be possible. And also, ma'am, often we have heard Mr. Ramakant say that I'm able to do a lot of things outside because my wife takes care of everything else. So do you agree?
No, I don't know what he says. Maybe
He says, I don't have to do anything. I just go out and spread the word.
yeah, in the house I do everything I had to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you take care of everything else, he said. So
Yeah, in the
so,
house I do, but
yeah.
not outside.
Yeah.
No, one thing, let me tell you, she is the administrator in the full swing, finance, administration. I don't know, she gives me pocket money to go by bus or by metro. And that is how I move around. I don't go by vehicle or anything because I don't take the vehicle far. All the time, wherever she goes, I get my pocket money and do the job. That is how don't know from where she gets the money also. And that is all, no worry from anywhere. And I don't go for my services. Till now, I have not charged anybody to pay this much money or anything.
Yeah, you have devoted yourself totally. Sir, how do you keep fit, sir? At 82, you're 82, I presume now. So how do you keep yourself fit? I know you play a lot of tennis and all that. So can you tell us how you do that?
No, one thing is there. I took my voluntary retirement when I was 50 years. So we were really worried. I was really worried how I will spend my time after retirement, because even during service, I used to go out on the field because I was a mining engineer. Always I was with the half band going on the field and all that. And the day we were going on vacation or going out somewhere, all packing, everything used to be done by my wife, and she used to keep ready everything. I used to go and have bath, change my dress and sit in the vehicle and go to the place for this thing. That was the habit right from the beginning, even abroad also, and even here in India also when I was in Goa. So like this, I was literally spoiled. I didn't know anything about the house. So this was the way in which I used to manage. And the same thing followed when I started waste management. Because for an engineer to get into waste management completely was a big change. But still, I could manage only because of her.
Right. Your fitness, sir, how do you keep yourself fit? Do you, you play tennis? You play tennis?
I am becoming, because of the lockdown, because of pandemic, I am becoming slightly weak. Because every day I was going out at least 4 or 5 days in a week. I was going to some bar somewhere. Whether I am required or not, go and teach something or I do make people aware. That is what my regular routine. So I was never feeling. I leave the house by 7:37. By the time PKs start collecting the waste, house to house, I used to go around in different wards. And believe it or not, I am controlling almost about 100 WhatsApp groups in Bangalore. Wherever, whichever ward I visited, they used to include me in that ward.
Right.
And after once I reach there, next time I always advise them on the WhatsApp one. I need not go on the site and do anything.
Wow. I can't manage 4 WhatsApp groups. I don't know how you can manage 100 WhatsApp groups. Amazing, sir. Amazing. So, ma'am, you use the slurry and the compost to grow vegetables. So what kind of vegetables are you growing at your home?
Most beans, mooli, and bendi.
Okay.
And now I'm getting even brinjal. We got plenty of brinjal.
Okay.
And dantin soppo, you can say what you call that. That comes very easily, and that also grows very fast. That also, and even since I'm growing mooli in the house, I'm using that mooli leaves also.
Oh, lovely.
That is tender. It's very nice. So what else? Like that, seasonal vegetables I get.
So you enjoy growing food.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
One
nice.
thing I want to add here, the most important thing, what we have promoting in Swachhagraha, Solid Waste Management Roundtable, you segregate, you compost the wet waste, you grow, and it comes to the table. So now this is a big advantage we have here, because now at this stage, if all the 1.3 crores people who are there, if they all start growing, now as you know in Bangalore, every street, every layout, there are specialty hospitals charging exorbitant rates. So one thing, if everybody promotes this, thinks about Swachagraha and doing it on their own table, then I am sure doctors will go jobless. This is what my final aim when we will do. And you are doing by composting, I am trying to make the people aware of what is to be done. So Swachagraha is one of the very noble things, causes we have started in the Solid Waste Management Roundtable, taking advantage of segregation of waste at source.
Absolutely.
And instead of sending it as waste, it will go as a resource.
Yeah, absolutely. When we have people, a tall personality like you, we can get more and more people to be inspired and motivated to, to do the things that you've been telling, because composting is so important, because 60% of the waste we can, turn it into something amazing. And then growing your own food. It is such an amazing activity, and urbanites can really, use spaces that they have around, and community garden, growing food. So there's so many different ways we can do. I'm sure, ma'am, people come to your house for a tour. A lot of people he would have invited to come and look at the biogas. So how do you, you like taking them around, explaining everything?
Yeah, sure. Of course, I would like to, whenever they come, I go upstairs and tell them how they are getting, what we are feeding, what gas it comes, all those things I tell them. That is explaining, of course, I do.
Very nice, very nice. So it's like a model home and a model couple.
Another thing, you should, people should know, in Swachagraha also we are promoting that. The point is now pesticides also, we have got organic pesticides. Our organic pesticides, my advisor is Vasuki Iyengar. He is helping me whenever we have problem. And now madam also has got in touch with him. So all the time he keeps helping about pesticides also. So with the result, what will happen? Organic compost, and then pesticides, we don't use anything. In olden days, when we were in school and college, we were just washing and eating along with the skin. But now we would dare not do that.
Yes.
Because there is the powder they add and so many pesticides and all that is so dangerous. So once you start growing your own food, blindly you can start. Now as madam says, mooli, we swap also that green also along with mooli, that also becomes a sabji. So all the things with skin also we are trying to use it. And now this watermelon, when it is brought, the watermelon skin also she is using it for preparing dosa and so many activities she does in that.
Very
so
nice.
That means waste is bare minimum. And you can do all that because you are growing your own food.
Fantastic. That's so nice. Aarti, would like to conclude and, sum it up.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ramakant and Veda ma'am, for giving us your time and influencing so many people, not just about living sustainably and green, but also about like new techniques that people can adopt, like a biogas plant or setting up a biogas plant, or using your waste in different ways other than your regular compost. Because I only knew about composting, and now I know something that's completely different and new and exciting that can be experimented in households. So thank you so much for giving us your time and explaining all of this to us. And for everyone out there who've just stumbled upon this video on YouTube, I hope you go back and watch this entire video, which is so inspiring about how you can live a more sustainable and green life. And for those who have stuck around and have watched till the end, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And thank you so much for bearing with some of the tech glitches that we have, especially with Facebook. We were supposed to go live on Facebook, and then we are now live on YouTube. Hopefully I will be able to share this on Facebook, so those who have missed out on Facebook can also get a chance to view it.
One last point I want to add.
Yes,
earlier when we started this 8 years ago, now a lot of modifications have come. So there's a lot of advantages in biogas also, even in individual houses. So
Nice.
it is an excellent thing. Only thing is we should not convert into other form of energy like electricity and all that. Then we lose the efficiency. That we have to take care.
Perfect.
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you
a
very
lot
much.
of us will be doing a lot of homework now and researching on a lot of these new techniques, which are not really new, but new to a lot of urbanites like me and urban children like me. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very
we
much.
will again for our episode number 10 next Friday. So I hope you stay tuned.
And thank you, Mr. Ramakant. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a
Welcome.
pleasure to have us.